Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. Thank you so much for being here. In this video, we're going to be talking about a fish that is right behind me in that 125-gallon nano aquarium. It is the Emerald Eye Rasbora. It's a great fish. Hope you love it. Thanks for being here. So I am really excited to bring you this species profile. This again is the Emerald Eye Rasbora, otherwise known as the Lampeye Rasbora, otherwise known as the Spot Rasbora. No matter what you call it, it's a really awesome fish. They are originally found around Sumatra, Malaysia, usually in streams, and typically those streams are more on the acidic and softer water side, but that doesn't mean that's where we need to keep them in the aquarium. More about that later. This is a great smaller fish, nano fish, if you will. This is the nano 125-gallon aquarium. Most of the fish in here are very, very small, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but these fish, they're awesome. They're going to max out right around 1.5 inches. What the fish that you're seeing here are basically full grown. A lot of times when you're looking at them at the store, they're going to be a lot smaller. It's not unusual to find them around 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch if you're lucky, but they do get a little bit larger than what you typically find at the pet store. Coloration. So this is a fish that's really interesting. If you look at them at a pet store, a lot of times they're really easy to look over, but I would challenge you to give them a closer look. And the reason for that is, one, they have these amazing blue eyes and they stand out from across the room. And if you get a big group of them, they are very, very beautiful. Not only that, but their bodies can sometimes take on almost a blue iridescence, although usually they're mostly silver. But they also have that blue area to their dorsal fin with that black spot. Really makes them stand out. Males and females, for the most part, look similar. Males or females are going to be a little bit more round. And this is a very peaceful fish. So if you're looking for a community fish that, oh, by the way, is, even though it's not necessarily showing it here, one of the tightest schooling fish that you can buy, this has to be on your list. Now, the tank water here is going to appear, well, a little cloudy, or there's stuff floating around. I fed them live baby brine. When I turned the lights on and started shooting this video, the live baby brine was still there. You're going to see them eating throughout the entire video, but that's why you're starting to see that stuff floating around. Most of it is live baby brine. Now again, if you're looking for that tight schooling fish, you want a really peaceful fish, this might be for you. Lifespan, they're usually going to live around 3 years, maybe a little longer if you're taking really nice care of them, but I've found them to be an extremely hardy fish, as many of the Rasboras are. This is definitely, although it's a Rasbora and they're hardy, this is definitely at the top of the list in terms of hardiness for a Rasbora. Price range really depends on your market, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them somewhere between $3 to $5 retail. Now, the aquarium that you're looking at, again, this is 125 gallon. You don't need a tank nearly that size. I'll talk about that more in a moment. But when we're looking at tank mates, fish to keep with your Emerald Eye or Lampeye Rasbora, you got a ton of options. And by the way, if you're looking for these fish, or any fish really, check out one of our channel sponsors, flipaquatics.com. They sell awesome fish and shrimp and plants. They quarantine their fish for at least 2 weeks. They quarantine their shrimp for at least 4 to make sure that you're going to get the healthiest possible fish and shrimp when they show up the door. Plant packages are amazing. They got a whole bunch of stuff. Flipaquatics.com. Their website is in the description below. So when you're keeping these fish, big thing, keep them in groups, bare minimum 6. I have about 12 to 15 in this aquarium. I didn't exactly count them all, but the more, the merrier. The more that you have, the more they're going to school together. And like I said, when they're not eating like this, they actually school fairly tightly. And in this tank, it's the tightest schooling fish that I have. If you're looking for other fish, pretty much all other Rasboras work just fine. In this aquarium, we've had chili Rasboras, all the chili dwarfs, Mira, all of those. You're looking at ember tetras here, so small tetras work out really well. We've got the diamond head neon tetra, that video in the upper right hand corner. We've done species profiles on a lot of these fish, so check out the description if you want more information on fish to keep with your Emerald Eye Rasbora. But yeah, all the Rasboras, small tetras work just fine. The small rainbows, like the red eye rainbow, or I'm sorry, the blue eye red rainbow, the Gertrude rainbow, thread fins, those are great potential tank mates. If you're looking for more of that centerpiece fish, you've got honey gouramis, dwarf gourami, peacock gudgeons, a lot of the small cichlids. We actually have some Apistogramma panduro in this aquarium, and that works out really well. So the Apistos, the Crebensis might work out just fine, rams. The one thing I will say is be really careful, because if you buy these fish at their typical pet store size, which is about half this size, make sure you don't have fish in the aquarium that can eat them. So just be a little bit cautious about that. But cory cats, these fish would definitely be snail safe. The one thing that you have to be careful of if you want to keep shrimp, shrimplets, baby shrimp, they very well may go missing. Adult shrimp would probably be okay. Most likely this is a fish that would be betta safe. I don't see them going out of their way to fin nip bettas. I don't see the betta really doing any harm to them because they're constantly on the move, as you're seeing throughout this video. Now, in terms of water parameters, temperatures anywhere from around 70 to 80. We keep this tank closer to 80 degrees. They've been fine like that for, well, their entire lives. pH, wide range of pH, so anywhere between 6 and 8. Again, in nature, we often find these fish much closer to that 6 to 7 range, but I have found these fish to be very, very adaptable. We've always kept them at a pH closer to 8, never had any issues, live a long, healthy, happy life. Water hardness anywhere from 2 to 12 degrees. So again, we're looking at very soft water up to hard water. Our water parameters are around 10 degrees on both our GH and our KH. If you don't know what water hardness means, check out that video in the upper right-hand corner. That will certainly help you through that process. Just make sure you've got a cycled aquarium. These are not fish that are going to do well if you've got a brand new aquarium and you haven't cycled it, so you wind up with an ammonia spike or a nitrite spike. These fish are not going to survive that all that well. But if you've got a cycled aquarium and we're keeping our nitrates at 20 parts per million or less, they're going to be in really good shape. Feeding these fish, not difficult. They go crazy for food. As many of you know, we feed all of our fish North Fin foods. We think they're the best on the market. So they get a variety of North Fin flakes, the kelp, the community, the cichlid flakes, the krill flakes. They go absolutely crazy for live baby brine. If you've never hatched out live baby brine, it's so easy and it's really fun to watch your fish eat it. Check out that video in the upper right-hand corner. I show you how to do it. It doesn't really take all that much effort. Tank size. Now, this is a 125 gallon. You don't need anything close to that. A 10-gallon aquarium for a half a dozen of these Lampeye Rasboras is going to work just fine. So as long as you've got a 10-gallon, you can keep a half a dozen of them. Obviously, a larger tank is better because they are somewhat active fish. Not somewhat, they are active fish, and they want to be kept in groups. So just keep that in mind. When you're setting up your aquarium, in my opinion, these fish look nicer when you have a darker background with a darker substrate. So in this aquarium, we have the dark background, but our substrate's a little bit lighter. But what that does is it allows us to see some of those blues that come out in both the body and certainly the eyes a little bit nicer. You can see we've got some plants and some wood and some rocks. But if you've got structure there, that's going to help your fish feel more comfortable in their surroundings. It's going to bring them out a lot more, make them feel a lot happier. If you're looking to breed these fish, it's not exactly an easy thing to do, and so what you need obviously are males and females, but they're egg scatterers like almost all Rasboras are, which means the eggs just go all over the place, and then everything else in the aquarium is going to eat the eggs, including the parents. And so usually what that means, if you want to breed them, you have a spawning mop or some Java moss. You allow the adults to scatter the eggs. They're going to do that almost every single day. Remove the adults and let the fish hatch. It usually takes a day or two, depending on the temperature of your aquarium and water parameters. You are going to need to get your water a lot closer to where they would be found in nature to get these guys to breed efficiently. So in that case, you are going to want to be between pH of 6 and 7. And that water hardness is going to be in the single digits, certainly in the 2 to 5 would be optimal for breeding. So I don't expect these fish to breed in our water parameters just because I don't expect the eggs to survive. Well, one, because we've got so many fish in here, but two, even if we didn't, the water parameters would make that a little bit more challenging. So there is no parental care for the fry. In fact, you need to remove the parents or they're going to eat the eggs and eat the fry. Once you have the fry, you're going to need fry food because the fry are going to be absolutely tiny. And then once they get large enough, you can switch them over to live baby brine. Now you're going to notice in this aquarium for filtration, we actually have a canister filter on this tank, and they really do enjoy a little bit of flow. So naturally they come from streams where maybe it's not going to be super high flow, but I do find them spending a lot of time near the flow of where the return is for a canister filter. But these are really peaceful, really active, really dynamic fish with great, beautiful blue eyes. if you have a chance to keep them, highly recommend it. They're not super expensive, plus they're hardy. You really can't go wrong there. If you run across them, it might not be a bad idea to give them a try, especially if you're matching them up with like what we did here with the Ember Tetras. You've got Chili Rasboras. You want something a little bit different. These guys might be for you. Again, if you want more information on fish to keep with these guys, check out the videos in the upper and lower right-hand corner. Really appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.